What's going on, everybody? We're here with another episode of Working Title. Today, we have two of the superstars, I would say, in the geek leagues. They know everything you can possibly know about these types of movies. So, I didn't know exactly what to give them, so I'm going to make them mash up two of the different genres of geek. The Harry Potter, the Lord of the Rings, the DC, the Marvel, avoiding DC and Marvel because it's a little too easy, or Star Trek, Star Wars, a little too easy. I think they can do better. So they're going to mash up two different things. I'm going to make them put in a beach town and a decision somehow in their pitch. So first, we are going to go ahead and introduce one of the other main people here at Opening Night Trivia League for the Geek League. We got David. How you doing today?
I'm actually really excited about this. I think I haven't really done a lot of pitching or movie centric talking in my fan league career, and this is going to be fun. So just see how it goes.
Sure, that's what this is for. This is for fun. A lot of people don't do this. They just try to answer trivia. This has nothing to do with trivia. It's great. And the other person we have coming in here, another person that is very popular in all the geek leagues. You see him everywhere. Brian Payne, how you doing today in the car? What's going on?
No, pretty good. I've Other than the fact that I'm still sitting in my car, I honestly look forward to doing this. I'm mostly in my background. I'm a wrestling fan, so I always love the idea of pitching fantasy storylines or fantasy feuds. But when it comes with geek, though, it's always like a whole quagmire in itself. I don't know exactly how to connect a certain story with all the lore that's involved. So the fact that this is just pure fantasy straight through with some hints of lore makes it feel good. So I don't have to worry too much of trying to please the hardcore fans out there.
No, because the person that you will be answering to is me, and I am not a hardcore fan of a lot of this, and I don't know a lot of the lore. So if you bring in a little bit, great. If you have none and nothing in canon, good for you. It's all about that. So we're going to start this off. As you know, you'll have 5 minutes to give me a pitch. David was first. You decided Ryan was going to pitch first. So this is what we call hit me with your best plot. I know it's really cheesy, but it was the best name I could come up with. So, Ryan, you're going to go first. I will wait to start the timer until you start talking. So whenever you are ready, I will give you your 5 minutes. So take your time, and whenever you're ready, we'll get going.
Okay. Okay, the pitch I wanted to do with the movie I wanted to present was something that's kind of like a little fun thing. Like one of our favorite characters have these big adventures. There's always like that. What's the epilogue? What's the downtime in between? So that's going to be the pitch of my story. And the main focus of the character I'm mainly focusing here is going to be the character of Data from Star Trek. And mainly, I'm going to have this set, and of course, this is going to be very loose, but this is going to be Data in between the films of Generations and First Contact. And the reason why is because Data, during Generations, had gotten an emotion chip implanted into him. So between this is going to be an opportunity to divulge into Data trying to learn to assimilate human emotion, and also trying to understand how to interact with people better, which is why it makes it perfect that a beach town would, some colony that has like a beach, a paradise sort of spot that exists within space, because their Data will be able to interact with so many different species, so many different aliens and people for him to understand and fully develop and also integrate the emotions into his life. And it starts off with him trying to learn how to do the basic for human emotion is how to unwind, how to relax. And with Data, him being an android, doesn't fully quite grasp the concept. So normally he'd want to talk to his Enterprise employees, but he can't because for some reason Starfleet has decided to give him shore leave, a day off. So he's spending most of his time interacting with different aliens, trying to learn how to unwind. But then all of a sudden he meets a human on the beach paradise that he didn't expect to meet. He meets Agent J from the Men in Black. Now, Agent J, from we all know of his past, he was an NYPD cop who knows how to have a good time and relax, but when he became involved into this wide array of aliens, he had to learn how to interact with aliens, understand custom, understand law and order pretty much in the universe. But this is his time to unwind. So when these two meet, Jay, maybe throughout his career, had never met an android, and of course with Data, he wants to understand human emotion. So what better way to unwind than to have have some fun at the android's expense, but at the same time, maybe with this android being a translator, of course, within his neural system, can be able to understand alien life, alien languages. So they hit up places, like what the alien hotspots are, what's a hangout, what do they do what can be done for fun on this paradise planet. Maybe for Jay, this can be something for him to do whenever he has more time away from the Men in Black after saving the world from another alien invasion or from another alien catastrophe, trying to make this the new normal for him. And for Jay, this could also be for him because this is after Men in Black 2 when he brings Kay back. So he's sort of a veteran, but still a rookie at the same time, but wants to be on the same level. So maybe him having this secret extra knowledge can be a way to help improve him as an agent, maybe and also as a person as well. And of course, since this is Data and Jay, there will be some moments that happen comedic wise, but at the same time it's still going to fall apart. Like let's say Data wants to understand how to, let's say, buy the what's the alien version of recreational drugs. So he unfortunately gets himself into a situation to where Jay, having been a cop in his past, could know how to deal with it, but because it's aliens, it's kind of, okay, what the hell am I supposed to do? Nothing too old, nothing too big, but just more of just like a small conflict that these two have to mitigate their way through without having to rely on the resources of their respective governments or their respective agencies. Just two men just trying to learn not only to get along, but to work together, maybe come to a better understanding of each other. And towards the end, hopefully towards the end of this, Data, by the time we get to first contact in the movie, Data will not only understand how to integrate emotion, he'll learn how to interact with people much better. So which plants a seed down the line in Star Trek Nemesis when he sings the song Blue Skies at Troy and Riker's funeral. And of course for Jay, he still has a long way to go, especially with the third Men in Black movie. But still, it's kind of a situation for him to understand that this is a bigger world than I'm part of. I still may have to get used to it, but at least I made a friend in the process. And I'm finished.
All right. That was pulling out the Men in Black was definitely not expected, but I like it. It's a little different. You got Garth, getaway driver, so carefully scouting locations for your film. I enjoy it. I think it's very different. It's kind of nice. It's kind of like the buddy. It's a little bit more of a nicer thing than you would see in a lot of these conflict and a lot of the Star Trek movies. There's a little bit of conflict, but it's more entertaining. It's a little comedic. I do appreciate that. It was something different than you would see in a lot of these type of movies. So very interesting. I did not expect the Agent J. When you said that, I was very happy about that. That was very cool.
I came close with a few other characters, but I figured, you know what, comedy of errors. Let's see what we can get.
No, actually, that sounds like a really good a pairing. I like the way you put it together. Someone trying to learn emotion and relax, and then Jay, who's obviously one of the coolest characters in all of the geek world, trying to just learn a little bit more about life outside of the human race. Very interesting. I feel like David, are you ready? Whenever you start talking, we'll go. Let's see how different this is from that one, because most of the time they are two completely opposite sides of the spectrum. So whenever you're ready to start, I will start your 5 minutes.
Well, I indeed decided to go in a different direction. Ryan went for a comedy. I decided to follow a character in one of his lowest points. So after the beginning of Endgame, we see Thor that he has failed to kill Thanos in time, and now he is literally has hit rock bottom. And in one of those moments, he thinks that he's not worthy anymore, and he decides to give up his powers altogether. And to do that, he goes looking for one of the waters of sight. And when he gets there, he gets a vision. In that vision, he's in a beach town. He's completely alone, and he starts walking until he meets a sitting figure that is an old, ghosty, after he died, Luke Skywalker. Now, why did I choose Luke Skywalker to try and convince Thor that everything is not lost? because if we look at the life of Luke Skywalker before he died, he failed a lot. But I am talking about a Luke Skywalker a little different than the movies, because I asked you if I needed to go canon. So you said no. So I decided to go to the Luke Skywalker of Legends. Now, this Luke Skywalker has had a pretty messed up life. We obviously know what happened to him at the beginning with his father, but after that, he met a woman, he had a son, Han and Leia had 2 twins, and one of those twins turned to the dark side and ended up killing Luke's wife in the process. Now, he feels very guilty about Jason Solo, that's his name, going to the dark side and forcing his own sister to kill his twin brother. He felt for a long time like he failed. Then his other nephew, Han and Leia's little son, also died in a mission he sent him to. Then he couldn't save Chewbacca. He couldn't save a lot of people, and that he was for a long time in the same situation as Thor was. But then his own son managed to make him see how his legacy was not a failure. He was not responsible for the decisions that the other people made for him. He did his best, and now he wants to make Thor see that he has the opportunity to redeem himself. Thor is going to see a lot of flashbacks of Luke's life, of how he was with his wife, and that what matters is how you impact on the people you live with, and the legacy you leave behind, now being the Asgard Thor managed to rebuild on Tonsberg. And he's going to show him that, because Luke now in death is happy because he knows his son is going to carry on the legacy. He knows he did all he could for his family, for his son, and for his galaxy. And he wants Thor, being one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, to be able to see that he can also do that. He can cement himself a legacy that he can be proud of when he dies. And I am going to cut there.
All right. Yes, again, 2 very, very different pitches, as always on this show. It seems to make my decision just that much easier when both I enjoy. Definitely going a different way, not really comedy, just kind of bringing in the low points of someone's life, but then trying to help them get hope. I believe you mentioned that you enjoy the movies that have hope at the end. This definitely has a lot of that to really try. I like how both of your movies are kind of in between movies that are actually the canon. You kind of, like you said, between Men in Black 2 and 3, between Nemesis and Generations, or Generations and Nemesis. I don't know.
Generations. I'm sorry. I said Generations in First Contact.
First Contact.
Yeah.
I know they're between 2 movies. Ask me the Star Trek order. I have no idea. Other than
no worries.
I can do one.
Yeah, I'm just being loose. I'm not going to say this is a me. I'm just being loose.
Oh, no, I got you. But I like that, David, you kind of bringing in Thor's reasoning for, kind of maybe how he got better, how someone can help get him hope by bringing in someone. That's pretty much what this is. You got 2 of the happiest people out there, and then maybe 2 of the saddest people out there. But the people stay happy, and the saddest people learn to love again and learn to see hope again. A lot of these characters are probably very common. They are already, canon. They're already there. But the next section is, nope, not that one. That's the one, casting call. So, Ryan, you went first. So, David, you will go first in this. Let me know any of your actors that you have. If anyone's different, if you want to bring anybody else into this, that might be different from what actually is out there, let me know. And you can just tell me who you got.
I actually can do that, yes.
Perfect.
So I think one of the most important characters that has to appear in the flashbacks because the flashbacks are going to be centered on Luke's life and the similarities on Thor's. It's going to be Luke's wife, Mara Jade. So Mara Jade in the books is described as a woman with red long hair, pale skin, and strong factions. Or like, is it factions? Face factions? I don't know if that's how you say it.
Jawline, facial.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jawline, you mean? You mean like a strong jawline?
Yeah, I feel. So I decided that maybe I could go with Jessica Chastain.
Oh, it's a good choice.
Then for the solo twins, Jason and Jaina, that they are very important as well. I went with an actress that has already appeared in Star Wars, but I mean, nobody really remembers her a lot there. It's Rose Byrne.
Oh, I'm a big fan of her.
And for Jason, I literally went to if you look at IMDb, you have a fan cast for Star Wars Legends. So I took it from there because I thought it was a really good idea. And let's see if I can say the name. It's Thomas Brody. I don't know.
Thomas Brody?
Thomas Brody, yes.
Okay, cool. Got it. I'm familiar with that one, but I will...
No, not Thomas Brody, sorry. That wasn't. Nathaniel Pusolik. Sorry, I went the other way around. Nathaniel Pusolik is for Jason Solo.
Pusolik, okay.
And now I have for Luke and Mara's son. Now I have Thomas Brody Gunn, Sangster from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I don't know. So, yeah. And the Maze Runner. Okay, now for Han and Leia's younger son, Anakin Solo, I have Anton Yelchin. That's why I asked if I could take someone that sadly is no longer with us. And I think that's all. Those are all the characters I need, because the other flashbacks I am just going to use the characters that I already played the characters in.
Of course, makes sense. Yeah, I was fine with having someone that might not have studied with us. Antonio is a great actor, and he definitely left before his time. I would love to see him in more stuff, but I'm perfectly fine with that. A lot of it, I like Jessica Chastain, is fantastic. Rose Byrne is I love her in everything she's in. She either makes me up in a comedy one, or she is just a really good actress who needs to be in a little bit more. I'll have to. A couple of these guys, I don't know Pusolik too well or Thomas Brody too well. I never watched Game of Thrones, but I will look them up. I'm sure. You said that they were fan casted. I can only imagine a lot of people.
No, the only one that was fan casted was Nathaniel Pusolik, that I don't really know him.
Okay.
But I thought that physically he resembles what I have in mind for Jason. But Thomas Brody Sangster is in Game of Thrones, and he's also in The Maze Runner. He is.
Oh, okay.
He's the.
Got it.
British guy.
All right. Okay, I see him now.
Oh, I think he played Jojen Reed in Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Yep. So. Yeah. As I'm looking at this, yeah, he was mute. Okay, got it. Understood everything you got here. I like it. I like a lot of the casting, even the ones I just looked up who Thomas Brody is, so I get it now. I could definitely see that. I like it, especially the Luke's wife and Jaina. I really like that casting. I think both those would be fantastic. Ryan, do you have any actors or any casting you have for your?
Well, I really wasn't considering putting too much on casting. I mean, to be honest, with the idea of the comedy of errors I was putting together, of course, the main focus would be our two stars, Brett Spiner reprising his role of Data, Will Smith reprising his role of Agent J. But then I started to really think of, but then of course, when I was going through this, I realized with Data, even though he is separated from the Enterprise crew, does not mean he still can't interact with them. But I decided to whittle it down to three different crew members. So I'm pretty much going to bring back LeVar Burton as Geordi LaForge. I'm going to bring back Beverly Crusher as Dave McFadden as Dr. Beverly Crusher. So, because when Data returns, it's going to tie in to a scene between the two of them from Generations. And then also I wanted to bring back the actress that played Deanna Troi. Mainly because since Deanna Troy is an empath and with Data having to, really facilitate emotions, she would be the perfect counselor for him to talk to, especially when it comes with interacting with Jay, who is at times a bit of unpredictable, or he kind of wings and goes as he, goes off on his own. And I think for Jay, I think the only Men in Black characters I would actually bring into this universe would be Frank, the pug. Mainly because this is after Men in Black 2, so it could be written as if Jay had developed a bit of a grudging respect for Frank, and seeing the fact that this is an alien stuck on Earth, he figured, okay, let's bring this alien to other galaxies, and maybe he'll get to, loosen up. Maybe get to see him outside of his disguise as a dog. Nope. He decides to stay as a dog because he likes the form. So it would be a very good interaction to see how Frank responds. Well, of course, Frank will not be on screen all the time. He'll be in certain moments. But then I decided, since this is going to be a different alien, this is going to be an alien planet, we're going to need new characters. So I figured I would bring in, of course, a comedic legend actor like John Cleese into the movie. He would play probably an administrator at probably, the overseer of this planet, because let's be honest, Jay and Data, they get into some crap. They're going to need somebody to, want to say weary of. So John Cleese seems like that person. He's a good actor, he has great comedic timing. So he doesn't always have to come up as a fool, but can always say something dry and witty, or just something very condescending or off-putting to our characters. And then, of course, since kind of I figured I needed a good foil, and somebody who has done prosthetic makeup in the past, especially in comic book movies. I thought can be brought back in this one, and that is Alan Cummings, who we could definitely play a very good prosthetic foil. I mean, a good foil, not prosthetic foil. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, it was in there. I didn't need to wait.
You are going to get arrested.
Oh my god, it'd be awkward. I'm pitching, all of a sudden I hear a knock on my window. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, now and then just to fill out the rest of my supporting cast, I decided to get two actors. I decided to select on 3 actresses who I think can provide some great energy and also some great gravity. I can't remember her name. I think her name is Haley Richardson. She was in this movie called oh crap, I can't remember her, but she was in 2 movies that I recognized her from, which was The Magnificent Seven, the remake. She played the female from the Magnificent remake, and then there was this movie called Hardcore Henry, where she was kind of like the object desire. But those are the only 2 I recognize her from. I've seen other movies she's in. There's this one recent movie she was in where she played a housewife who developed an unfortunate habit of eating almost anything in her. I can't remember it. Swallow. It's called Swallow. Yes. Oh my god. I've seen the movie. It's really it's not like creepy or disturbing, but it's very unsettling to watch it. And Haley Richardson's performance she gives in that movie she can give the idea of someone who's wounded, or someone who's trapped, or someone who just there's more pain bubbling underneath the surface, which can be a great character for Data to want to understand how to channel empathy, how to be compassionate. Now he has emotions in his system, and also is a great way to bring in Deanna Troy. So it can be kind of like a situation where she's whispering to Data, and Data, through listening to her advice, is trying to connect with this person. But let me keep going. And then to fill out the rest, I decided to get Allison Janney. She is a great actress, a great filmography. She's like a great supporting character, but at the same time, she knows how to steal the scene. So I figured she'd be a great person to bring involved, either as an alien or as a humanoid or a regular person. And then the last actress I wanted to bring in, I'll be honest, I went back and forth on her, but then of course I realized she may not be for my taste, but she knows how to be funny and how to be serious. And after watching her in The Farewell and Crazy Rich Asians, how can I not bring her in? And that is Aquafina.
Okay, I like I like that. I thought I got to see The Farewell, but I do remember her and a lot of the other stuff, Ocean's 8 and Jumanji: The Next Level, stuff like that. She's great. The Haley, I believe, I looked her up. I was trying to figure out. It's Haley Bennett, I believe, is who you're.
Haley Bennett. Yeah, that's
there is
who
a
I'm
Haley
thinking
Lou
of.
Richardson that is in movies, so I was looking at that. I was like, she's not in Swallow, but I found her. Yeah, Haley Bennett. Yeah, I know what you're talking about too. Girl on the Train and all that. Equalizer. I like that casting. Aquafina, Allison Janney obviously is fantastic in anything she does. I'm sure she's going to be someone's mom in it, most likely, because that seems to be what she does constantly. I was actually going to say this as well. You're going for that Peggy vote in the polls. So it's a guarantee that would happen with the Sirens. Don't worry. They didn't show up in arms are still in the vault. So when you have to get away, Garth, he'll still be safe.
And I got a flatbread, so don't worry. It'll be safe.
Perfect. I like all the casting from everybody here. It's really good. I see you're kind of sticking with a lot of Star Trek and the Men in Black characters, and then bringing in the extras to add that little extra comedic effect. Obviously, Aquafina, Allison Janney, John Cleese would be great in the comedy roles. Alan Cumming he's just a good actor in general, so can't go wrong with that. The next step here is called the comment section. If you've ever been on Facebook or YouTube, the comments sometimes they're a little dickish. And this is the time you guys can kind of go back and forth. You don't have to be a dick, but at least tell me why your movie is a better idea, why your movie should be the one that would be greenlit over the others. Something like that. You can also tell me a little bit more about yours. Tell me why theirs is not as good, depending on the casting or the plot, however you want to do it. I'm just going to be quiet. I'm going to let you two talk and go for it. And then once you guys start kind of repeating yourselves, I'll put it into it and give you like a 30-second closing speech. So whenever you guys want to go, whenever whoever talks first, go for it.
Okay.
All right. One of the strong points I think I have in my movie, I don't think I mentioned this. I said there are going to be flashbacks of Thor going and watching parts of Luke's life. Now, I failed to mention that those flashbacks are going to be narrated. And even if we see Luke Skywalker in his young life, the voice that narrates those is going to be old Mark Hamill talking to Thor. So honestly, if someone told me you are going to watch a movie and Mark Hamill, one of the best voices in voice acting, is going to tell it to you, I will be sold. That's one of my first arguments.
That is a good that's a good point there that you bring up there. Like it does tie into it. It brings out a lot there. I think for me, what would make my good movie a good pitch is because, I mean, of course, we've seen in the past what happens when you take established characters and then you try to, give some creative freedom. Sometimes they hit or miss there. But to me, I feel as long as you have like a very good, like solid story or a dynamic that can really just sell you on why these characters meet or put them in a situation to where they can't get themselves out of, that they actually have to work, where it's all about them as character. Personally, for me, that would work, because when it comes with geek culture in general, what we are always drawn to is the stories and the adventures that we get from it. All right, rather it be comics, books like Lord of the Rings, or even novelizations or audio books. We're always drawn into the story. So sometimes a character that can never work in a movie, but when you put them into a novelization, or you adapt a novelized story by giving them just an episodic adventure, it definitely works for me. And it's one of the reasons why shows like The Mandalorian is so good, because it doesn't tie into a larger narrative. It stays focused on one solid adventure while just giving you sprinklings, little hints of the larger world that's taking place outside. But if people are still not drawn onto that, I still think the comedy of errors is why I think it's going to work. Because you have someone as cool and collected as Jay going up with someone who's as very straight-laced and rigid like Data. And I don't mean rigid as if you can't get through to him. It's just because he's always learning. So anything he say can be misinterpreted. So that just falls, and it works because it's very relatable. Rather, if you know someone who has an accent, or at least you're learning a different language, you're always mixing up certain words with each other. And I think it would be fantastic to play a little bit on that comedy. There's that comedy of errors, of misunderstandings.
I actually agree completely. I think that little bit and pieces of just a small and simple character arc inside of a larger world works very well. And my pitch is exactly that. I am not pitching you a huge storyline inside of the huge lores of Star Wars and the MCU. I am pitching you a simple story of a person who has hit rock bottom and meets another person who, in his time, hit rock bottom and was able to see hope again. And now he wants to transmit that hope to Thor. Now that hope after is going to help Thor save the world, that's cool, but that's not the focus of the story. I am just making Luke once again the new hope. Luke is going to be that voice for Thor to basically grow as a character, grow as a person, not to save the world, just to be able to live with himself. I am not talking about the big picture. I am not talking about saving the world. I am not talking about all that you said. I am just talking about two people that just want to be happy.
Yeah, that is very good, David. I actually do agree with what you said there.
Thank you.
That was one of my big concerns there when you were making your pitch about the fact that you're going to bring in the Luke from Legends because of his history, and the fact that this was Thor. So I'm glad that you were able to calm that nerve out the way. And I can pretty much get from where my pitch is. It does feel like it almost feels like I'm taking shots at certain movies that kind of do the whole thing where everything always needs to have an end of the world situation or big or high stakes. And one thing I just want to assure to everybody who's watching, and of course to you, Anthony, and to you, David, is that my story, well, I wanted to keep it like still a bit of low and medium stakes there, but more focusedly about character growth, kind of like what we got with Logan, and because even though there was unfortunately big stakes with the mutant children, the main story was always about somebody who was stuck in their own little narrative, someone who had a similar belief, but then had to have that belief broken apart and changed in order for them to grow as a person. We've even seen it in other movies like Children of Men. Like we've even seen that in other comic books, like with Blade. I mean, sure, Blade, he's always fighting vampires, but it's always about Blade throughout each movie trying to come to grips. At least it's not shown on screen, but it's about Blade trying to come to understand of himself because he hates vampires, but he is a vampire himself. So there's always certain walks of life he meets, especially in Blade 2, where he meets vampires and comes to understand that he can't trust vampires, and he can learn to trust the vampire side of himself. So I'm guessing and I think that's why I wanted to tie in with Data, is the fact that in Generations he could not deal with emotions because it did not help him with his job. But then you see in First Contact and in the later ones where First Contact and Nemesis, where emotions actually did help him, especially in Nemesis when, spoiler alert, he sacrifices himself to save not only Picard, but also it creates a bridge between growing peace between the Romulans and the humans, and the Romulans and the Federation. While that didn't obviously get explored more on, but it was that kind of situation of Data's own personal growth that I think a small story like this could help for him to build back onto his memories and realize I don't have to just file and sort emotions. They can be useful. They can be something that can help me not save the world, but to make an impact on others.
That's really good. I mean, but I actually want to counter because honestly, I kind of
Okay.
want to see that movie too. So, like, anyway, I want to. He mentioned Blade and he made a comparison, so I was thinking about a movie that I could compare my own pitch with of a character hitting rock bottom and finding another character in an unlikely setting that also hit rock bottom at some point but came back. And I thought about Shawshank Redemption. So I want you to think about that kind of dynamic with Morgan Freeman as Luke Skywalker, or and Chris Hemsworth as the other actor. His name I forgot. Sorry, I am not good with actors. And that ending of hope, that's what I am going for. That's exactly what I am going for. Thor knowing that he can live his life and be proud of what he is going to do, the legacy he's going to cement with Asgard, and Luke being happy, being relaxed in his death, now being reunited with his dead wife. And I don't think I have to say much more.
Those are, man, you got, this is like one of the nicest, but both of you had such good points on each other's. I'm going to give you guys like just a quick 30 seconds. Give me like a final, like, hey, here's like the final overall. Here's why my pitch is good. Just quick 30 seconds, and then I'll make my decision from there. So, Ryan, you want to go first?
Yeah, okay, I'll go first. Just 30 seconds.
I'm not going to time it, but also you're frozen, but I can hear you.
Sorry, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's my phone heating up, but I'm gonna try to just turn my camera off for a second. And can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you. You were just frozen, but you can talk, and then hopefully you come back in.
Okay. Okay. Well, once again, I just wanted to reiterate. Well, actually, no. Just to sum up what I wanted to do, I want to sum up with my story between Data and Jay. These are two people at certain points of their life. They are trying to understand where they fit in their world. Data gain emotions, how that's going to make him a better, effective crew member on the Enterprise, but also help him understand humanity. And then with Jay, someone who is becoming agent to protect the Earth from all alien life. But unfortunately, when he looks at his job, he's mainly just a simple bureaucratic cop. He's just there to file and sort aliens into Earth. He doesn't understand their plight. He doesn't understand their journey on why they come to this planet. So having him off of Earth in an alien planet situation of him trying to understand alien lifestyle, people living on planets, can help him understand and also to help relate with the aliens that constantly keep coming to Earth, that just want to live normal lives, that kind of want to live not the American dream, but to just live a peaceful existence to where they're not constantly being judged by who they are. Unfortunately, even though they have to hide in public. But for someone like Jay, if he experiences a situation like that himself, I think he can relate and understand more. And being partnered with someone of Data who wants to understand humanity in general can give Jay maybe a fresher perspective on Earth on why aliens want to come to his planet.
All right, got it. A closing argument there, David. Go for it.
For a second.
Oh yeah, take your time. I'm not timing it, so just
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So I think in general, both our pitches are basically different, but are very similar in the way of both characters helping each other find their place in the world. I believe mine edges out a little more because of the emotional impact of it. Like Luke Skywalker has been the savior of the world, and that has a huge burden on his shoulder that he was able to overcome. He was able to be happy even with his failures, and now he wants to give Thor that same lesson. And I believe that lesson is one that can be taught and can be related with anyone that watches a movie. And that personally is what I love in movies and what I loved in Star Wars in the first place, and why Luke Skywalker is such a great character for me. And I really want to explore that side of the character and the emotions within those two, because I also think that Thor's plot was very underused in Marvel. So we watched Brent Spiner and Data have that evolving in the series and in the movies, while I think we missed a little in Thor and Luke. So I really think that part of emotion and missing evolution is what edges my movie out a little. But honestly, Ryan's is great too. So.
All right. Those are great arguments. Honestly, those were fantastic. I'm gonna attempt to make my choice now. Uh, Ryan. Your movie is one I'd probably watch more often. It seems like it would be fun. It would be funny. Will Smith is fantastic in everything he does. I like the opposite people kind of trying to meet up and try to learn from each other. Something we've seen a lot, but also allows for a lot of good comedy in it. Something that would be fun. David, your movie is that definitely. When you were talking about it, how you were talking about the hope and all that, the parallels to Shawshank were going through my mind too as you said it. Namely, once you say the word hope in a movie, I mean that immediately your mind goes to Shawshank because that's basically the theme of it. Uh, Not something I would probably watch as often, but your movie is very well done. I think it has a lot of potential to really be exceptional, just as a movie. In the end, the movie I think I just like edges out by like the smallest bit because again, you guys are completely opposite sides of the spectrum. No one makes this easy for me. I gotta, David. I'm gonna give it to you because I really like the way the hope comes in. I like the fact you're taking someone at their lowest and kind of helping him learn from another person's problems in the past. You went away from the normal Star Wars that people that only watch the movies would understand, which is fine. You put it in a movie, it kind of allows you to not have to know everything about Star Wars to enjoy this movie. Ryan, don't get me wrong, yours is fantastic. Yours I would watch the crap out of because I would love to watch the two together. But honestly, it was your first. Like I was going with Ryan, and then the first thing you said, your first talking about your movie, kind of flipped me. Like it was just really, you had a lot of like passion behind it, and it felt it. I was like, you know what? That is a damn good movie. Because at first I was like, maybe I don't know, it's good. And then you said that, and I was like, I got to go with it. It was fantastic. But both of you came in. You guys came in swinging. I love both your pitches. It was fantastic. Ryan, I'll start with you. Did you at least have fun doing this? Would you be interested to try it again sometime?
Well, I'll answer the latter first. Yes, I'd definitely love to do this again sometime, even if it's not on Geek. I like the idea. There's one thing I love about wanting to pitch because it's just like getting your ideas out there, even if it sinks or lands. I like the fact that you're just not just throwing some random comment out there and go, "Oh, I think this would work." Okay, build on it. Like really put me in that corner, have me try to create a good story. I mean, of course, like any other, like anything anybody writes, like either if it's a novel or if it's a script, it's gonna get rewritten over time. But what I wanted to, but at least with the original, I guess when it comes to this, at least even if my original idea gets shifted, like if you don't think Data and Jay works, and all of a sudden you switch it up to be, I don't know, Gimli and Dexter, or you just try to go with the wackiest combinations out there, I still think what's fun about this is just the idea that you get to take some normal ideas you think that would maybe help bridge like your audience to help maybe understand more. That's why I like the theme of mine was all about trying to understand each other, which is why I thought would be important because especially this day and age, we all need to fucking understand each other.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
No, but even then, still very fun. It was exciting, and I liked being able to stretch my brain out there, really test my knowledge, and also test what I wanted to do, my ideas. I don't like it all being stuck in here. I need to get it out.
I got you. And yeah, this time, the first round through, I'm trying to give everybody something that they like, that they enjoy, that they would be really like they would really have fun doing. The next time through, I might put you on a completely different path and make you really think and really give you a challenge. So, I wanted to kind of the first time through. I appreciate this, but we'll see what happens the next time. Who knows? I might give you something that you absolutely hate, but you're going to have to think about it. David, great pitch. Did you enjoy doing it? You'd be interested to try this again sometime?
I love talking about Star Wars. I don't know if that came through.
No, not at all. I totally know that.
Luke Skywalker is my favorite character ever. And I honestly, it was weird because I knew I wanted to do a character. I cannot speak English. A character insight movie. And I knew Thor was one of those that could be exploded because I love trying to pick up, like, trying to make sure that all the arcs that can be told on the various characters of those franchises aren't left untold. And I thought Thor was very misused in Endgame. I hope they do him better later. And then I was thinking about who could be that Morgan Freeman for Thor. And I don't know why it took me so long to think about Luke Skywalker, the Luke Skywalker that I fall in love with when I was 9, because that was when I was 9 that I read all about Luke Skywalker after the movies. Don't get me wrong, I love Luke Skywalker in the new movies too, unlike a few people, but I love the other one better. And I think that he's a hopeful character. And I love talking about Luke Skywalker. So you gave me that opportunity to show my love for him, and I appreciate that.
Glad I could do that for you. That's pretty much it for the show. I hope you guys had a good time with this. Dave, you got anything coming up that you want to pitch or anything going on?
Just check out the Geek Division on this league.
Yes, stay on the channel. We have lots of stuff going on. Ryan, what do you got? Anything you're pitching?
Well, currently, of course, this is a trivia, since I'm also involved in the trivia leagues as well, especially with David's Geek League. And of course, as a fan of trivia, I'm a fan of the movie Trivia Schmodown, which pretty much spawned a lot of these fan trivia leagues out there. I'm currently doing a YouTube show that does like an ESPN player profile breakdown of everyone who's played in there. It's called Mount Schmodown. So far, we've had a couple of episodes out on our YouTube channel called Mount Schmodown. This upcoming Saturday, my co-host and I, we're going to break down another Schmodown player, Paul Preston. So we're going to have a lot of fun doing that. And speaking of trivia, next year, 2021, I reached out to a few friends of mine in TMG. I'm going to put together all Marvel movie tournament called the Multiverse of Marvel. It's pretty much Marvel and MCU movies all done together. Like it's gonna be 3-round questions all about Marvel movies. So there's no limits. Signups are still available. Just go to TMG Trivia if you want to sign up. If not, you can just message me if you want to help write questions or maybe host a match. I'm definitely open to that. Believe me, next year I'm gonna give myself a lot of work.
I think I already signed up, but one thing, I have to try and defend my franchise wars title.
Well, I'm just going to go out there and say this right now. The list for signups is 32 players. So believe me, yeah, the two men here, they are involved into it. And trust me, I'm not going to be short about this. I don't know how long this tournament will take up. This is one separate division. It's not part of a whole. This will not affect anyone's trivia records. If you just want to play for the fun of it, message me or go into TMG Trivia and sign up for it. Believe me, I'm not going to take anything personal. If you don't want to play or not, that's cool.
Yeah, I definitely made sure I signed up for that. You can put me on the list for any of the above because I do love Marvel. I have Marvel on right now, but it is one of my favorites. So for you guys, for opening night trivia league, obviously we have this going on. We have the Geek division. We have the singles division. Check it out. I believe we're kind of ending up on the season here. We have a little mini tournament going on for a potential final for the singles. And other than that, check out all the other leagues. You'll see me around everywhere. Real quick, I do want to do this because it is a very important thing. They just had the Smash-a-thon, so please donate for the Kevin Smiths and all that.
Yes.
If you find it to fund me, do that. It's a great cause. There's another great cause. Nico is starting Trivia for Thon, which will be on almost every single fan league. That's also a great cause for pediatric cancer. My wife was a Penn Stater as well. She did it, was at Thon every year when she was there and still donates every year. So all good things. Please, if you have the ability, donate to both of these causes. There's nothing wrong with donating to something that's important.
No.
Other than that, appreciate everyone. Appreciate you guys being on here. As I say every week, if you want to join, if you want to be on this, you want to pitch something, I'm coming down to the end. I don't have that many people that signed up left, so we're going to start bringing it back around. So you can hit me up. Just, slide in my DMs. It's cool. I'll accept it. And we'll go from there. But again, for this, for Ryan, for David, myself, Spence, who's, just kind of watching in the background to make sure all this goes well. You don't have to know trivia to pitch a movie. This is just fun. please come and join it. This is the one time you can do it stress-free and let your mind kind of wander. So we'll see you all next time. Next week, we will not be here because it's Thanksgiving. Enjoy it. Enjoy the holiday if you are able to, because most of us can't go anywhere. But at least enjoy it. Have some food. And then the week after that, we will be back. So everyone have a wonderful week. Have a good holiday. And we'll see you all later. Bye.
Salute.